Aunt Jane, Uncle Joe, happy anniversary. Real sorry I couldn't be there, but I wish you all the best. Congratulations. That's really something. I was talking with your daughters about, what I could do for a gift, and they said, well, why don't you just share a few memories? And I have many, well, few actually, but very fond memories of Joe. I remember the first time I remember seeing you. My parents had gone out for an evening and you were babysitting us. It was in Woodbridge. I couldn't have been more than 7 or 8 years old. And you put us all to bed, and I got up in the middle of the night, walked out in the living room, and you were sitting in a chair. TV was off by then. It was after midnight, and back in those days at 12 o'clock, the TVs went to static. So you were just sitting there, and I said, "Where's Mom and Dad?" He said, "They're still out." And you said, "It's Saturday now." And it never dawned on me that the days changed from one to the next overnight. And I, for some reason, just remember that. Most of these memories would seem kind of random and insignificant, but the fact that I remember them all these years make them rather important. Another time in Woodbridge, we were talking about something, the family, and I don't remember the discussion, but I remember you making this comment that has always stuck with me. You said, "Rick, if someone says it's not the money, it's the principle, it's the money." And that meant nothing to me at the time, but throughout my life, I recalled that over and over again. We had a lot in Virginia where we would go on weekends and camp. And one time you were with us there, and I remember you there being there several times. We would swim in the lake and cook out and build campfires at night. And that had always been my job. And I started to build a campfire, and I was looking around for paper for kindling. And you pulled this, I remember it clearly, this very thin silver bark off of a log. And you said, "Rick, this is 10 times better than paper." And sure enough, it sparked up and we got the fire going. And for some reason, I've always remembered that. The canoe trip in at Big Bear Creek, I think, or Little Bear Creek. I mean, that's a classic story, and that comes up quite a bit. I don't really need to discuss that anymore, but it was a great time and a fond memory. I do remember being at you and Jane's wedding. If my math is right, I would have been 8 years old, and I remember meeting Jane for the first time. I remember family being there, and I was fascinated by Jane because she had told me that she had, I believe, a grandparent who was an Indian, and I was just really impressed with that. And she had a little tintype photograph that she showed me, and I really thought that was terrific. Um, of course, I remember visiting you guys in Lansing as a kid, and for some reason, I recall visiting the Kellogg plant in Battle Creek, Michigan. That was really something for a little kid who loved cereal. Anyway, um, throughout the years, I remember visits to Florida and at my mom's house and down with my dad and all that. And I've always looked forward to spending time with you. It's always a great time, and I wish you guys all the best. I asked your daughters, what else, what can I do in terms of a gift since I can't be there? And they said, well, how about a song? So I really spent a lot of time trying to sort that out. I went through my repertoire. I said maybe I could write something. And I went looking and I found a song that I had heard. It's an old ballad. It was written in the 1940s, and it's been done by all the greats back then. Sinatra did it, and Tony Bennett, and a couple women singers. It was very famous apparently at one time. No one's ever accused me of being a singer, so I do chord melody arrangements on solo guitar. And I ended up picking this song out and writing an arrangement for it. And what it captures for me is the sweetness and the feeling of calm and that everything's going to be okay that I've always experienced in your presence. And it's called A Nightingale Sang in Berkeley Square. It was written in the UK, I believe, and they pronounce it Berkeley, but it's spelled Barkley. Or no, they spell it Barkley, but it's pronounced Berkeley. Nah, whatever. I hope you enjoy it. Just a little something. I could have done an hour of material, but I really didn't want you all sitting around during this celebration, looking at each other, like you were in a kid's recital of some kind. So there's a tune on the next link that I've sent the girls. I hope you enjoy it. God bless you all. Hello to everybody, and congratulations. Happy anniversary. Love you guys. Bye-bye.